I think Phase 4 is running thin on audience goodwill. Basically, every movie to come out in the last year has had the glup shitto problem, where the post-credit scene introduces a character normies have never heard of, and Googling it makes them go, huh, okay, I guess. Don't get me wrong, Marvel Studios cut their teeth on lesser-known characters, but ever since Thanos was defeated, it feels like there's no major through lines. Even the multiverse isn't consistent between projects. I would really like them to return to a big thematic build like we got to Infinity War. That being said, I think this finale has some potential to change that. I'm Gayfesh, and today we'll be talking Miss Marvel Episode 6, No Normal. But before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. It's the series finale, so spoilers. Well, I appreciate that the show is acknowledging that a small domino mask doesn't actually hide your face at all, because after Kamala tells her family about her powers, the show basically decides that she doesn't have a secret identity anymore. The movies have tended not to care about maintaining those for the most part, but for literal children like Kamala or Peter Parker, I think it makes sense. Still, it is nice to see her get full community support this episode. And of course, her mom makes her final costume after being inspired by her broken necklace for the logo. I hope the next superhero gets bit by a radioactive seamstress so they can make their own uniform. Up to this point, the only MCU hero who has always made his own suits is Iron Man. The costume looks great and comic accurate, I just wish we didn't have to wait until the finale to debut it. Damage Control is chasing Bruno and Kamran, and they go to the mosque to hide out, but of course, that's a bad idea because the mosque is already under surveillance. Fortunately, all those present at the mosque do their part to stall Damage Control until Bruno and Kamran get out and connect with Kamala. They go to the school to hide because it'll be empty on a Saturday, but of course Damage Control shows up there too. Kamala calls Red Dagger, who says he can get Kamran out of the country if he can get to the docks before midnight. And in the meantime, we're treated to a heist/Home Alone style plan of how to distract and stop the Damage Control agents. It all just forestalls the inevitable because Kamran and Kamala have to face down against Damage Control directly. But we also have to have her and Kamran kind of have a fight because they both have powers and it's really just tonally off. These agents are trying to kill Kamran and she stops him multiple times from hurting them. He then almost goes Tetsuo mode and talks about how they'll never accept him and he needs to go home to his people, but Kamala talks him down, saying that his mom sacrificed herself specifically to give him these powers, and she punches a hole into the sewers so he can run off to the docks. Eventually, the community rallies around Kamala, attempting to protect her from Damage Control, but they get called off anyway because the lead Damage Control lady had attacked the school against orders. Social media blows up about the event and everyone is a big fan of Kamala who, while trying to pick her superhero name, learns from her dad that Kamal is Urdu for Marvel, and he calls her their little Miss Marvel. We then find out that Bruno discovered that it wasn't just Kamala's Jinn heritage that gave her powers, but he was able to identify a mutant gene. I guess that makes Kamala the first mutant in the MCU, and gives me hope for future X-Men projects. The end credits scene makes basically no sense though. I predicted that Brie Larson would show up, and she does, but it is in a very confusing way. Kamala's bangle acts up and seemingly teleports her out of her room and puts Carol in her place. And that's it. That's the whole scene. No idea what happened there. Hopefully it makes sense in the Marvels and they didn't just shoehorn in a very lazy way to have Carol in the show. Anyway, that's it for the show. What did you think of it? With Star Trek on break until Lower Decks comes back, I'm in a little bit of a content drought, so if there's any shows you think I should cover, let me know in the comments.
No word yet on a second season, but if they do one, it would be cool for her to team up with some X-Men, like Jubilee.
Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and share the video with your friends. Subscribe to my Patreon to get shouted out in future videos. Check out my Bandcamp for banging tunes, including all the tracks you heard in this video. Follow me on Twitter @GayestFesh, and don't forget to check out my podcast, The Rest of Both Worlds, where I go through Star Trek The Next Generation with a friend who's never seen it. Thank you to all my patrons, with a special shout out to Piftle Cakes and Renee Vorbeck. Your support is greatly appreciated. See you all in the next video.